Instead of let's get the murderers, the killers, the drug dealers, it's a disgrace what's going on in New York and other.
Welcome back, and I am back with the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Mr. President, we were talking about China, Russia, the Democrats. Kevin McCarthy was on with me on Sunday, and he told me he's going to be launching a number of investigations should they take the House majority in November. What investigations do you want to see should the GOP take the House in November?
Well, there are plenty of them to look at, and you could certainly look at relationships between some of these politicians that do nothing, having to do with lots of different countries that we talk about. And you take a look at that, and you can certainly look at all of the political corruption on the other side where nothing happens. I think Kevin's doing a very good job. He's tried to put things together. It's not easy. We're dealing with a bunch of far-left crazy people. They impeach you for nothing. They do things that nobody's ever seen in this country before, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that it can be happening.
Well, there are a number of issues that people raise with Joe Biden, from the money he's accepted from China to unconstitutional mask mandates. Should he be impeached?
They've taken in millions and millions of dollars into that family. Nothing will happen, and they only go after Republicans. They only want to go after Republicans. Yeah. And by the way, the Republicans don't do that. They don't play that game, which is in one way stupid, in another way it's probably the way it should be done in some ways. But they only go after Republicans. They don't go after Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. You look at the corruption, it's nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, and you told me that was one of your big takeaways from your time in Washington. But, Mr. President, I want to get your take on the Republicans as it relates to this upcoming election year, because everybody wants your endorsement. I know you've been meeting lots of potential candidates. What are you looking for? What tips the line for you in terms of giving an endorsement? And what are the hot races that we should be watching going into the November congressional races?
Well, I think we have a lot of hot races. We have some great races, and it's true. We're about 158-2 in terms of wins, and that number is going up very substantially. And a lot of people are coming to Mar-a-Lago, and sometimes I don't have to see them. I see the great job they're doing. We have a lot of great Republican candidates for the House and for the Senate, frankly. We're going to have some interesting races. We also have some insurgents. And that's insurgents in a very positive way, because getting rid of some of these rhinos that do nothing, do absolutely nothing, having to do with almost everything, and they just stay in the way. I mean, Mitch McConnell, as an example, he's not up, unfortunately. I endorsed him, but Mitch McConnell, when he gave the 2-month really cooling off period to the Democrats, he allowed them to do so much. He allowed them to get their house in order. That was a disaster. With the debt ceiling crisis, it was a total disaster. We could have won every single point, but he gave them a 2-month cooling off period. That was not a good thing to do. That was a very bad moment. But we're endorsing some fantastic people, some great Congress people, and others. You know, we're going beyond Congress. We're doing state races. We're doing where we think really talented people are, and a lot of it has to do with America first. We want people that are going to put America first, not put Iran first, not put China first, not put other countries first. We want people that are going to put America first.
So the question becomes, will you be running, Mr. President?
Well, the polls say I should. I just left, as you know. I was in Texas. We had 87,000 people show up, and the press refuses to mention the crowds. They don't want to talk about it. They refuse to show the crowd size. There's a movement going on, the likes of which we've never seen in this country before. And I think it blows Canada and the truckers, and we love the truckers and we respect the truckers. But I think the movement we have going in this country blows it away. And many of these issues are the same issues. But the people of this country are very angry at everything that's been happening and the incompetence that's been shown in government. We have grossly incompetent people. All you have to do is look at the Iran deal, look at the Afghanistan withdrawal, Look at inflation. The inflation, there was no reason for this inflation. The energy prices, the ridiculous energy prices that should have never happened. We were at $1.87 a gallon. Now we're at $7 in some places for fuel.
Well,
that alone would have caused massive inflation. And the inflation is a truly big problem in this country. We would have had none.
Mr. President, tell us a little about Truth Social, because I know you're going to be doing beta testing soon, and you're going to launch at the end of March. Devin Nunes is the CEO. I want to talk about TMTG, Trump Media and Technology Group. Will you be able to go up against big tech?
Well, I certainly think so, and we're not reliant on them. And this country needs a voice. You know, when they have OAN, which is a fine group of people and network, and they have others where they're trying to cancel them, and they are canceling them. This group of massive numbers of people, and I think it's probably 65–70% of the population. I don't believe that when you have defund the police and no voter ID and no borders, open borders, and I don't believe that's a 50-50 partner. I believe they cheat on elections. That's not 50-50. How are you going to get 50-50 for open borders? When I was watching your show, the people are just pouring in, as we speak, pouring into our country.
Yeah.
We have no idea where they come from, who they are. We're going to be paying a price for that for many, many years to come. It's got to be stopped. It's got to be closed. It's got to be closed now. The wall could be finished in 3 weeks.
Well, we are seeing an impact. We've got crime spiking across the country. But, Mr. President, before you go, a word on your book, because you came up with a lot of the comments under the pictures. Are you surprised by the popularity? Are you needing now to print more books?
So they have sold 250,000 copies, and I guess they have orders for hundreds of thousands more. And, you know, usually a book like that is a smaller seller because it's pictures. But the love that they've had for our administration and that I have for everybody out there, but the love, and especially when they see this incompetence, this gross, vicious incompetence that's going on in our country, when all they're good at cheating. If they would use the same genius to run the country and to help the world and to help solve problems, it would be a much different place. But they don't do that. It's grossly incompetent, this administration. So what people are seeing, and the reason this book is such a runaway massive hit and just does so well, and again, it's pictures. It's really pictures, and I write notes on different pictures, and we talk about, you know, different scenes, but it's almost like romance. The people want to be brought back. Despite all of the witch hunts and all of the fake things that they pulled, the people want to be brought back to that time when we were respected by the world. Russia respected us. China respected us. China never threatened us once. Russia never threatened us once. Nobody did. Kim Jong-un, North Korea, had a good relationship with him. Now you look at what's happening. He's testing at a level that he's never tested before. You know, it's incredible. And maybe worst of all is what's happening in Iran. We would have had a deal. They would have never had nuclear weapons. And they're months away from having nuclear weapons, and you won't even be able to talk. They're religious zealots. You will not be able to talk to them. So, you know, people are seeing this. People are very smart, Maria, and they're seeing this. And I think that's what's made the book. So it's called Our Journey Together. It's what made the book so successful.
I think it's also your commentary and your comments below each picture. But real quick, Mr. President, before you go, you got to address the crime spike. You were a New Yorker. Now you're a Florida resident. How do you feel when you see murder at 25-year highs and you see these smash and grabs and what America looks like today because of the crime spike? What do you want to do? How would you change this? If you were in charge, how would you change this and reverse this crime spike?
Well, for one thing, the radical left district attorneys and attorney generals, they spend more time trying to figure out how to get Trump. I've been under investigation for years. They just keep investigating. They go back years and years. There's supposed to be a statute of limitations. It's a disgrace. They devote 25, 30, 40% of their department to let's get Trump. Instead of let's get the murderers, the killers, the drug dealers. It's a disgrace what's going on in New York and other places. Well, you have to get tough on crime. You have to get tough. You have to give sentences. You have to get rid of no cash bail. How about they have murderers getting out with no cash bail, and then they murder again? And I looked at the statistics in New York. It's a horrible thing that's happening. You got to get tough on crime. It's my number one thing now.
Yep.
You got to get tough on crime. You have to stop it.
Mr. President, it's been great talking with you this morning. Congrats on the book, and we will talk soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Maria.
We'll see you soon. President Donald Trump, 45, joining us this morning in that exclusive.